now lunchtime and I've just been sitting and knitting, and I am now on my way to one of my best friends. And actually pretty much nearly all of my best friends are in this very same flat because they just so happen to be in Oslo on this very day. We usually meet up in Trondheim, but for some reason this time they are in a festival in Oslo, and one of them is here because one of her friends is getting married, and so we just happen to be all in town, which is so cool. So yeah, it is lunch, and I just came across this really awesome bakery which happened to have pretty much mostly British pastries and other things. Yeah, so I'm not in focus, am I? Sorry, that was probably very intimate. So I don't know how much I'm going to be filming today. We will see, of course, but yeah, it's been good. It's rainy, it's below 20. I am very happy and I love Oslo. I really do. Is this me wanting to move back to Norway? Is that what's going on here? Hello, it's just evening. It's been a lovely day, but yeah, I have to admit I didn't film an awful lot because I was hanging out with just, yeah, friends who aren't particularly, you know, fiber friends. They're just friends from school days and such, and they're not like particularly keen on being on camera. I'm trying to find a good angle where the light doesn't make me look dead, but this is the laptop light, so it's just gonna have to do. But yeah, I may have like sneakily filmed their behinds, but just to prove that I have friends. But yeah, we didn't yeah, I didn't force them to be part of the vlog, but we had a very good time where we baked and ate pizza, me mainly partaking in the eating and knitting a thing. We walked about, we talked about things, and we were just friends, and it's just really good when the group gets together because we are all based different places. I'm based in London, one is based in St. Albans, one is based here in Oslo, and the other based in my hometown Trondheim, and so it takes a lot for everyone to get together. Yeah, but good fun. Because I didn't have that much content today, I thought maybe talking about music that I like, because I've had some questions about it. So if that's not for you, if you're not watching Vlogust because of that, then you know, you can just like watch the next video when that comes out the next day. But for those of you who have been curious about what I listen to, any recommendations, any sort of story behind the band I'm into, I thought I'd take you guys up for a little ramble. So let's just start right on. I really love metal, thus the knitting is metal shirt, which is my favorite. It's so good, and I've heard rumors, several people have informed me that Countess Ablaze will be the UK stockist for knittingismetal.com. That makes me so excited because they keep making new amazing t-shirts, and I'm not in, there we are, I'm in focus, and I want all the t-shirts because t-shirts are good and means I can wear knitted cardigans on top and still look all fibery. So anyway, favorite genres include prog metal. I really love prog metal. I know I am from Norway, but no, I'm not really that into the Norwegian black metal scene. There are some exceptions, like I really love Enslaved and Dimmu Borgir, but that's about it. I really don't like, and the stuff I like from them is the stuff that I have diverted from the kind of old school scene, so yeah, nah, not for me. I am actually more into Swedish and Finnish stuff, although My favorite band, or musician I should say, above all, is Devin Townsend. He's a Canadian musician. He's from Vancouver, still lives in kind of British Columbia, and makes the most brilliant music that I know. And even if you're not into metal, I think you can find something of his that you enjoy. Of course, if you are a metalhead, then I strongly recommend his previous band, Strapping Young Lad, which definitely falls under the extreme metal banner. But he's made other music as well, like his project Casualties of Cool. My mind went blank there. It's basically country music. It's country music based on the sort of tale of someone who is stuck on the moon. And it really has that vibe to it, that darkness, that just the grey moon and just being stranded there. And the only thing that keeps this character company is an old kind of radio with a lady singing. And there's just a pile of bones there. And that is exactly the atmosphere of the music. It's quite dark, but it's also sort of light. I can't really explain it, but yeah, Casualties of Cool is amazing. But I really primarily love his music for the main solo projects he's done. The stuff released under his own name, Devin Townsend, and Devin Townsend Band, and Devin Townsend Project. Now there will be no more of either. There will be Devin Townsend, of course, but the project and the band are, as of now, not happening. But yeah, just to mention some albums I love Skeindeer. Skeindeer is just a fantastic album. It's so tropical in a way. It's so lush. I think they recorded a lot of sounds from a greenhouse or something, like a botanic, like some kind of garden with like waterfalls and birds and something. So the sound is just really lush. And I really love Terria. Terria is a classic. Infinity, Ocean Machine. I'm just going through all of them now, I realise. All of his albums are great. I think his latest, Transcendence, which may sound familiar to some of you who knit my patterns, it's one of his best. You know, it's rare that you can say that someone's latest album is one of their best, but Transcendence, honestly, it's so good. It's so magnificent. But if you're really into catchy stuff, then Addicted would really probably be right up your alley. Addicted is just really addictive. It's pop metal, the best way I can put it, and that may sound a bit off-putting to some, but it is both. It is pop music, but it's as heavy as any other metal. Like, it's just catchy metal, which someone like, that's unusual, and you wouldn't really think that the two could coexist, but they just do, and it's just great. And songs like Triumph and Sunshine and Happiness, like from Skeindeer, you just can't be unhappy when listening to them. Same thing with Awake. No, they're just very good pick-me-up songs. Gosh, I look really dead with this light and it's like really baggy eyes. Maybe I am a bit tired as well. Maybe it's just good when we're talking about metal. But yeah, it's not very grim music. It's chocolate in my cheeks. It's very nerdy music. Prog metal is more of the nerdy music than the more kind of brutal and more aggressive stuff, although his band Strapping Young Lad is certainly very aggressive because it's basically about anger. But I think it's good to have that in music form, because really you just have music you can relate to without actually having to express things so much. And in a way it feels nicer, just because, well, that music is angrier than I am, and it sort of makes me feel a bit better, and I'm kind of in good company. That probably made no sense. Other things I'm into, I used to be so into Nightwish and Evanescence, and that used to give me so much hate and judgment from like the truer metalheads, because they have female singers and they use orchestra and classical instruments and kind of catchy format all their songs, and they made it to the charts. It's like, you don't do that in metal, right? So yeah, that used to give me a lot of flag barrier. That music is very special to me. It's my teenage years. I absolutely love them. And I think the album Once from Nightwish and Century Child and Evanescence, The Open Door and Fallen, they just summarize my teenage years. And I absolutely love the band Pain of Salvation. Again, going back to the prog metal scene, this is a Swedish band that are very kind of 70s influenced, at least as of late. And The Perfect Element, so good. And also B, the album B, I was thinking Scarsick. I can't remember if Scarsick was the name of the album or one of the songs in the album, but that entire album as well is fabulous. And Remedy Lane, they were just Road Salt, like, yeah, Pain of Salvation is just really good. And the funny thing is, with nearly all of these bands, but particularly Pain of Salvation and Devin Townsend, I used to see them so much that we actually kind of became a little bit on first name basis. Now I'm not like under any delusion that I was friends with them, because I was a fan going to their shows. We only met at their shows mostly. There was one band member in one of the bands that I used to hang out with a bit on my spare time, because just I happened to move to London and he was in town and we just hung out, and it's pretty nice. And we were pretty much the only ones the same age. Anyway, tangent. I think I've seen Pain of Salvation between 3 and 5 times. Same thing with Nightwish, was probably more closer to 5 as the Evanescence one. But Devin Townsend, I have seen 16 times. 9 of those times were the same year. Yeah. The thing is, it started with me actually coming down here to Oslo to see him perform with the band. Back in 2011, when I had a pretty rough year as a student in Norway, in Trondheim, and it just really got me out of that place for some reason. Just got me traveling, and it got me curious about seeing the world again, and it made me want to go to London to see the band again and again. And I'd been twice, and I realized I quite like being in London and being outside of Norway and just like getting away a bit for a plethora of reasons. And I moved, and I ended up seeing the band even more. So at this point I already seen them 4 times, but then I saw them another 4 times because they did 3 consecutive shows, like 4 consecutive shows in 4 consecutive days, performing 1 album each from the Devin Townsend project. And it was so good. It was so good. And again, if you're not into metal, the album Ghost is really more new age than metal. It's not metal at all, it's new age. Kind of Enya inspired, if you can imagine that. All the 4 albums, they have very different vibes. Like the first one, Key, is more blues, Addicted is more pop and metal, Deconstruction is very metal, and Ghost is new age. Yeah. And then I went up to Leicester to see him perform an acoustic show, so we're already, I think that's when we reached 9, if my maths and counting is correct. So you can see how it sort of happened, and obviously they would have gotten used to seeing me around, and that's how we got to know each other. Except actually I was remembered from the very first show because I just walked up to them and said hi, and they wanted to have a conversation with me just because I said hi. I'm not sure how that happened. I think I don't look the part of a metalhead. Like, I don't always like wear band merch on shows. I just kind of show up just looking like a girl, and usually when you look like a girl at metal shows, someone just assumes you're someone's girlfriend. It's a bit of a man's club. So I'm a bit less like fangirl threatening, you know, that they're so wary of the fanboys. I think that when a girl comes up and just like, I like your music and I came all this way to see you, it's really cool to see you guys coming all the way here from Canada, you know. You're just kind of less threatening, and just, yeah, good bunch of lads. I really enjoyed it. It's just a shame that they stopped recognizing me after I went blonde. So much for being on a first name basis. Anyway, we were talking about music and not me being a creepy little fangirl. I love Catatonia. As of late, I've been so into Catatonia. I've listened to them for ages, and I didn't really think they were like my favorite thing, that they were just like a couple of songs that I was into. Now I love them so much. They're a Swedish progressive metal band. Quite depressive, but I like that. I seem to not be that sensitive to things that are a bit moody. So yeah, absolutely love and recommend Catatonia. There's just music that's kept me company for the past year or 2. I love Arjen Lucassen. I can't really pronounce Arjen. He is a Dutch musician, definitely prog metal, also quite 70s influenced, if not a bit 60s and possibly 80s as well. Very kind of old school influenced, and they say what he does is space operas, space metal operas. A metal opera is essentially an opera but with metal music. So they have songs, there are themes. They're not musicals, they are definitely more operas, and he gets lots of musicians from various other metal bands performing together, visiting his studio if they don't send recordings to him, and very often he gets a nice collection of all my favorite musicians from all these other bands. Devin Townsend's been there, members from Catatonia and Nightwish have been there, members from Pain of Salvation. I just get them all on the same album, and it's great, and the music is so nerdy and out in space and really cool, but also relevant to today's climate. Make that of what you will. So yeah, it really speaks to me on a lot of levels. It resonates with me a lot. And I really love In Flames lately. Again, a band I listened to for a long time, but I thought, it's not quite for me. And now I'm like all about, I think, what's it called? Reboot to Remain. I think that's the album, and the song Trigger. And Ghost Brigade. If you're into metal and you like some of the aforementioned bands, especially Catatonia, you're gonna love Ghost Brigade, and you're gonna be so upset that you found them after they broke up. But yeah, they're a Finnish prog metal band, erring a little bit towards doom and death sometimes, but yeah, quite depressive, and I love them because they're kind of triumphant as well. So yeah, absolutely love Ghost Brigade. I think I managed to sneak a little bit of Ghost Brigade into my dancing in my new swing skirt video, so that was them. And Opeth, again, they seem to fit this sort of very depressive theme of music that I've been into lately. Don't know what that's about. It's not like I've had a rough year or anything, but it's nice to listen to music that it doesn't bring me down at all. It keeps me company. If anything, actually makes me feel heaps better. Yeah. Now actually what comes up on this list I made myself is Annbjørg Lien, who is a Norwegian violinist. She makes folk music on violin. Now my screen just went a bit dark. Yeah, really recommend that if you like violin music and if you want to listen to something more folky and Norwegian. And then Olafur Arnalds, I'm very bad at pronouncing Icelandic. He is a classical musician who makes a sort of a modern take on piano music. He's a pianist first and foremost, he's a composer, and he makes, again, incredibly depressive, melancholic music, and I love it. It's so beautiful. It is just something beautiful. I think I listened to what would be the soundtrack of something like Glade magazine. Does that make sense? Music that is just beautifully sad and beautifully melancholic and beautifully dark, and yeah, there's something about that just really speaks to me. I also want to mention Hans Zimmer, who's a film music composer. He made the music for the latest Batman films and The Lion King and Pirates of the Caribbean films. I really love the scores of those films. He makes a lot of the sort of catchy movie themes. Really, I really love his style. I love Within Temptation, and I also want to mention The Gathering in this go because they're both female-fronted Dutch metal bands, and I absolutely love them. Gosh, I look really garish in this light. Oh dear, it fits the mood of what we're talking about. So we're talking about such dark music. But yeah, no, Within Temptation have been with me for the longest time, and they are one of the bands I've been into the longest that I haven't seen. And it's really interesting to follow their development, because they went from a sort of doom gothic metal thing with like grunts versus lady vocals to actually be quite poppy and catchy, and they're very skilled, and I really love their music. And The Gathering, that was a band I didn't think I'd get into. I don't think I was the right age. It aged with me, and now their music is very much up my alley. I love Lorena McKennitt. She is a Canadian folk musician who blends a lot of folk styles from various places in the world, and for some reason her music is Christmas to me. I just love listening to that music when it's Christmas. Same thing with Annbjørg Lien, although I also listen to her music when I need to study quite hard and concentrate. It's getting dark quite fast here and I look like a ghost. I think I'm just finding myself listing lots of bands now. You may have found something to take with you to listen to if you are into this kind of thing. I wish I could play examples for you here, but that's of course not something I am legally allowed to do unless I want to lose all my ad revenue. But you can find a playlist that I have made. I made that a long time ago, just a hidden playlist for myself, but I have now made it public. So if you want to check out any of the music that I am into, it is mostly metal. I could probably try to mix it up, I might add music to it in the future, that is different. But for now you can find the playlist Skeindeer tunes on my channel, just in case if you're interested and if you want to listen to some of the stuff that I listen to when I knit and design my patterns, and you want to have a score to that may possibly surprise you. I think maybe I will shock a couple of people if the first thing you check out is Strapping Young Lad, because they are quite extreme, and if the first song you do check out is I don't know how to say this, PG-13. Beep Storm, that is a pretty intense one. Imperial, pretty intense one. I absolutely love it, but enter that with caution. If you want to check out some of the less heavy stuff, the album Addicted by Devin Townsend would be a good start. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up. I am sure my hostess is coming home soon, so I will just try to edit this video and gonna meet some friends tomorrow, so I probably need to get some sleep, so I'll catch you guys later. Thank you so much for watching as ever, and good night.